I've been reflecting on a couple of things today, just from yesterday and from today. One of those being the devotional I just kind of posted from Dallas Seminary from our current, soon to be former president, and he had talked about how if you see a turtle on a fence post, you know that that turtle didn't get there on his own. And I've ended up in a place that I know I didn't get myself here to where I am today all on my own. And I was thinking too about our message here at FBC yesterday. And Pastor Sean was talking about the Lord of hosts, the Lord of armies who controls armies. And so I started thinking about how God would move around his people into certain places, just like an army commander is going to put his soldiers in the right places for certain purposes. And those people may or may not always know exactly what that purpose is. And so I go to scripture here and I look at Proverbs 16:9. It says, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his step." And I've had all kinds of plans for my life, and they don't always work out exactly the way I intend. And so I think of other passages as well that, we go over to Matthew 16:24, and it says, "Then Jesus told his disciples, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me." The disciples didn't know what was going to happen in their lives or what the whole plan was. They had to follow Jesus. And so I think about Jeremiah 29:11 that we love to quote, that that God knows the plans he has for us to prosper us and not to harm us. And yet for Israel, that was followed by 70 years in captivity. There have been years in my life, and especially in my ministry career, that honestly have felt like captivity, that I was in a place where I was stressed or struggling, and I didn't know exactly why or how long that would be. And I can look back and see some of those purposes and plans. I don't know all of them, but I do know that it's all played a part in getting me where I am now. Right now, I'm in a place where I feel like I'm thriving. It fits. And I love this church. I love the place that we live. I love the style and the culture. And when we talk about theology, when we talk about biblical practice, we just line up and it works. And I enjoy the people that I work with, the people that I serve. And it's not exactly what I was planning. I didn't know where God was going to have us, and when we had looked at getting here in this kind of area before, and it had never worked out, and yet now it has. So these days we are in a kind of a time of captivity, somewhat, being refined to our homes. Of course, it's not like the Israelites being captive to Babylon or actual prisoners or anything like that, but we feel captive in many ways. We feel stuck where we're at. And so the question is, just like I look back on my life and I see purpose in growing me and preparing me for where I am now, from all of the things that I've been through in the past, that I get to thrive now. How are we going to thrive? What is God's purpose in what you're going through? I don't mean necessarily our whole world. We can talk about those things, but what might be a purpose for spending some extra time at home or away from some other people or the things that you're used to? What's the purpose of that in your life now? And can we just sit and think about perhaps even some of the beautiful things that we may not even be able to imagine that God has as his perfect and good purpose? And can we rest in that with great hope? That's where I'm at. Things are tough, but I am very hopeful about where we're going to be.